Hey, how you doing, Vince? So do we have sound? I was trying to log into another device just so I can check sound. Um, so I've given up on OBS for the time being. Just had it crash on me so many times. Um, did not forget this time. Yeah, welcome back, buddy. Glad to see you. It's super loud? Oh, geez. Okay. Like loud enough that I should tone it down a little bit? All right. Well, so I took it down. I took it down to about 80%. So let me know how that sounds. Hey, Kat, how are you doing today? Did you have a good day at work today? Were you working today? It does sound like there's a lot of feedback, or kind of hissy. It's more hissy and feedbacky than it normally is, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Let's tone it down one more bit and take it down to 70% and see if that sounds better. Um, what do you do, Vince? And what made it boring today? Was it not your typical kind of stuff? Or is every day boring? You've been socializing like a normal person. All right. Sounds like a good day, Kat. You work in IT support? Yeah. I sort of do too, I suppose. Are you so today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday one of your days off then, Kat? Because you work on the weekends, right? Sorry, I'm finishing my coffee. I needed a little jolt. Get me going. It's a dreary day here in Colorado, and that never happens. Let me see if I can show you. Let's see. We'll bring that over. Can you see the rain on the? I'd have to like get it really close. There's a bunch of rain on the window, and here in the Denver metro area, we supposedly get 300 days of sunshine on average each year. So unlike people in Seattle that are used to the rain and can handle it, um, I've been worthless today. It's been rainy all day, and so I just feel really drained. So I'm getting hopped up on a little caffeine before we get started here. So Tuesdays and Fridays off, Cat. That's pretty good. Friday's a good going out night. Coffee, coffee, coffee. I love coffee. All right, let me get my little cleaning rag back out. So you guys get to see for the first time a recipe that is not off of somebody's food blog. My sister and I used to live together, and she is one of those people that has like an innate ability to come up with good things to eat. And I think she had maybe gotten inspired by, she had gone to some Thai restaurant and had something similar. And so then she came home and she's like, we need to make these things. And we made them, and they're freaking amazing, and I've been making them ever since. So the wraps themselves are these spring roll wraps. They're made out of rice. And wait, let me double check. Aren't they rice? I think they are. Tapioca starch, rice starch, salt, and water. I don't know how to pronounce that in the Vietnamese way. Ba Trang, Bon Trang. But you can see they're really, really thin. And you just kind of heat them up in a little bit of hot water, and they become really, really flexible. And then you can wrap up whatever you want in it. We're going to make them veggie style. Since we had chicken last night, you know, I'm so weak. What do you mean I'm so weak? Oh, it's raining all the time there. Of course it is. Well, that's you chose to move from Poland to the United Kingdom, so you certainly can't complain. I chose to leave the southeastern United States where it does rain a lot and moved to Colorado, which is an arid, high elevation desert in effect, where it's not supposed to rain at all, and we're getting rain. I don't know if this is some kind of like effect from Joaquin or something. We don't usually get East Coast weather here, so because we're a far distance from the coast. So I don't know where this rain is coming from, but it's been a pretty good drizzle all day. So what was I going to say? Okay, so yeah, I had chicken last night in the Thai coconut soup, which by the way is all gone. If you want leftovers for that and you're cooking it not just for yourself, but for somebody else, double that recipe because there was maybe like, I guess it was technically one serving left that I had for lunch today, but it wasn't enough to like fill me for lunch today. So even though that recipe last night said it was 4 servings for 2 adults that are somewhat active, I'd say you would need to double that if you wanted any leftovers. But it was really good last night. So we're keeping the Thai train going and switching to vegetarian tonight. So we're going to use some extra firm tofu, peanuts. So those are our sources of protein for today. We've got peanuts and tofu. And then for the veggies, we're going to have carrots, red cabbage. I suppose you could throw in some other things if you wanted to, maybe some kind of a green or something like that. And then we're going to top it off with a sauce of, so like a peanut sauce. And if any of you know of a good Thai peanut sauce that's homemade and you can like link a recipe to me, I'd love to try making my own, kind of Thai style peanut sauce. I guess I could start trying to experiment with it. This doesn't really list, what it is. It just says it's nutty with garlic, ginger, and lemongrass. So now that I have lemongrass here left over from last night's recipe, maybe this is the time to experiment making it, because it does say it's peanut butter, sesame seed oil, which I just bought, rice starch, dehydrated garlic, lemon peel, lemongrass puree. So maybe that's what I should do next, is try and find a homemade version of this, because I eat a ton of this stuff and it's not super cheap. But I also find that it's not quite spicy enough. It's probably not supposed to be spicy, but I like to add some of this red curry paste. It may look different for you where you live. Let me grab another version of it. So as a backup, I have some of this that I got at the Asian market. So same thing, red curry paste, just in a different container. So Vince, what made your day boring today? Was it just like the type of support requests you were getting today? So this is going to be a pretty quick stream. Last night's recipe was a really quick recipe, and this one, to be honest, is actually even quicker, which is good because I've got to take this new computer back to the shop to have the processor replaced. It shut down last night, and when I was looking at the event logs, it was saying it was a power issue again. And we just replaced the power supply, the motherboard, the RAM, so the only thing left to replace is the processor. So I'm going to take it back to the shop, and they're going to get a new 4790K. Can't believe that thing's shutting down. But so it's actually, for the best, this is going to be a pretty quick recipe to make because I've got to run up to that shop before it shuts down tonight, before they close. So we'll start off with the tofu. We're just going to saute our tofu in our iron skillet here, or whatever kind of skillet you have available to you. I like to kind of cut the outline of the tofu here in the package, and then that way I can take it over to the sink and kind of press down on this section to drain out a lot of the moisture of the tofu. So I just kind of press on the top as I'm draining it into the sink. Trying not to spill it. And then with this extra firm, it doesn't tend to have quite as much water weight in it. All right, I'll get rid of this for a second. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring that skillet up to kind of a medium-high temperature. And then on our tofu, I'm basically going to cut kind of bite-sized blocks out of it. So I'm going to kind of cut it in half horizontally first, and then just kind of go down from the top. And then kind of the same thing. Just going to make a nice little grid here of bite-sized pieces, about 1 centimeter in size. They'll cook more quickly that way. And then also they'll be a little easier to wrap up inside the wraps. So I'm just going to break them apart a little bit because they tend to want to stick together like good waffles do. All right, and that'll do it for the tofu. We'll wait for the oh, one got away. Wait for the skillet to be hot enough there. Wash the raw tofu off of my knife. Kat, is it raining on you there in Wales right now? Is Cardiff one of those kind of industrial cities where it seems particularly dreary when it is raining? Or does Cardiff have some nice green spaces mixed in? I would love to visit Wales one day, particularly if there's any good mountains to go visit. Alright, we're going to peel our carrot while we're waiting for our skillet to get hot enough. So that's just left over from the other day. I got a little overzealous peeling too much carrot. I want to know, have you ever seen the rain coming down sunny day? All right, we can toss on that. And I think our skillet's about ready to go. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to try sauteing the tofu in sesame oil this go round. I usually would just use vegetable oil, you know, something cheap like that, canola oil. But since we've got a new container of sesame oil, and I love the flavor that it imparts, we're going to give it a shot on this one. If I can figure out how to open this new container. It's a weird one. There we go. The sesame oil was just under $10 US. So, you know, probably, what, 13 euro? No, like 8 or 9 euros. So it's kind of pricey, but it's definitely worth it. The flavors that it gives your food are just fantastic. And sesame seed oil also has a higher smoke point. So if you're looking to kind of saute things at a higher temperature without having the oil burn, it's a good choice. I can never quite fit all of them in this skillet at once. Not quite big enough. Looking out my back door. Well, the cat knows we're cooking, so she's going to come over and yell at me here in a minute. I think that she thinks that when I start cooking, it's time for her to be fed as well. And it's actually not her dinner time. She's not supposed to eat for another hour and a half. But she's not used to me cooking this early, so she thinks it's later in the evening than it is. No, I'm not feeding you, cat. Perfect. Not quite small enough? No, it's... Oh, the bite-sized pieces are not quite small enough? No. I think actually if I had chopped them any smaller, there'd be even more of them, so it would be even harder to get them all in here on one layer. Is that cheese? No, that's the tofu, cat. That's the tofu. No, I never read the chat in order. Vince is giving you a hard time. Okay. It looks very similar to the paneer that I got from the Indian market. Comes the fur face. Come here. Come here. Would you like the guest star? Would you like the guest star? Okay. Go ahead. Yell at everybody else. Fur face. No. I was thinking about, so you'll notice that I have removed like every third-party plugin from the channel right now. You've never tried tofu? Tofu itself doesn't have a lot of flavor. Vince, this is extra firm, just because I kind of like that texture better in the wraps. But you could probably go with soft. It probably wouldn't make that big a difference in the wraps. Is it nice? Like, is the flavor nice, you mean? It's kind of bland. Tofu doesn't have a lot of flavor itself, so it just kind of gets lost in whatever else you're cooking. The flavor tonight is going to come from the peanut sauce, the curry paste, the peanuts, and then the cabbage and carrots, really. You don't like soft texture at all? To be honest, I've never even purchased the soft tofu. I've only ever gotten the hard. Alright, so we got that going over there. We can move on to shredding our carrots. I'm going to try shredding our carrots in this bowl, see how well this works. So we've talked before about, if you're just building your kitchen, just equipping your kitchen, a grater is definitely an essential tool. If it's within your budget to get a box grater like this, they're a lot more stable and kind of easier to use. But this will do the same job, and it's usually, 3/4 of the price, or sometimes even half the price. But these box graters are nice. This particular one even comes with a little measuring cup that you can attach to the bottom of it. I kind of feel like It gets, even when I get it on there correctly, it becomes too top heavy, and so I almost never use that little measuring cup. But it's a neat little addition. If you marinate it in sauce, it'll absorb some flavor. Yeah, that's sort of why I wanted to try using the sesame seed oil to see if that might give the tofu a little more flavor, just because it is pretty bland. And because the tofu is bland, I end up using more and more of the sauce, which, let's see, the sauce has a 2 tablespoons serving is 70 calories with 5 grams of fat. And to be honest, I probably use like 4 or 5 servings of that sauce every time I have these things. But it's really good. You've never tried soft either? You've tried medium, and even that medium tofu is still too mushy for you? Yeah, my girlfriend, I think it's mushroom. It might be eggplant, but she feels that way, that it's just like the texture is too mushy. I think you could say the same about eggplant, wouldn't you say? Just too mushy. A bowl scraper. It's a plastic bowl with a metal scraper on top. Oh, that's cool. Like this would just be mounted on top of here, you mean, Vince? Yeah. All right, let's see how this works. What I'm trying to come up with is, like a way to have this kind of set up and mounted so that I don't make as huge a mess spitting out little carrot bits all over the countertop. And then the old tedious bit of trying to avoid losing a finger at the end. This really isn't going to work since I have these were already all chopped up. I might just end up kind of julienning these at the end. Depends on how the eggplant is cooked. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, fried in the pan, yeah. You know what I would like to make is a bit of eggplant parmesan. I have never tried making eggplant parmesan or chicken parm. I like eating them. I'm awesome at eating them. I've just never tried making them. All right. It's got our carrots there. Get all those bits out of there. Come on. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun wants to peek out. The rain has stopped. What are you going to have for dinner tonight, Punkist? Or have you already eaten? It is 6:30 your time, isn't it? So I'm basically just trying to brown all 4 sides of the tofu here. Alright, we got the carrots. Put that aside for a minute. I don't need this one anymore. Let's chop up the rest of this carrot here. It's going to go with our sauce. So one of the things I was thinking I should do is actually measure how much carrot I tend to use in this recipe. You can smell basmati rice? Oh, is your significant other cooking for you right now? Or a roommate? Sounds like it could end up being Indian food though if you got the basmati rice going. Oh, sorry, Kitty. Give you access to the closet, for sure. Alright, we're getting some good snap, crackle, pop sounds from our tofu. You might be getting close. So one of the things that I kind of want to keep track of for the first time ever in making this is like how much of each ingredient we use and then how many wraps we get out of it or how many servings. It makes me realize that the people that write recipes, like, it's got to be frustrating for them because they could just make the whole thing themselves a lot faster. And especially for food bloggers, they've got to sit there and try and photograph it and make it look, really aesthetically pleasing. In addition to just writing down all the steps and all the ingredients. So looks like I typically use a cup's worth of carrot, shredded carrot. Oh, so basmati just goes with everything, huh? Is there such a thing as brown basmati rice? Or you don't bother with brown rice? Alright, one thing I do need to do is check and see how much of this head of cabbage I need to reserve for tomorrow's recipe because I've now used up all our carrots and I don't want to use up all of our cabbage as well if that's one of the items that we're going to need tomorrow night. But one of the other things that I'm working on as far as like skills to develop is thinking through my recipes each week so that if I'm buying something like this head of cabbage, that I'm going to have another use for it because there's pretty much no recipe that calls for an entire head of cabbage. But you still want to use up the whole thing before it goes bad. Alright, so for tomorrow's big colorful salad, that's what we're going to be making tomorrow night. Looks pretty good, huh? Lots of colors represented. Let's see. Red cabbage, 1 cup. Okay, so there's really not going to be that much in tomorrow's salad, so should be good. These little buggers are browning up nicely. Alright, let's see. I'm going to want to measure this as well. Alright, so 1 cup of carrots. I'll end up seeing how many cups worth of cabbage we use. I would say in general I want like twice as much cabbage as I want carrots in each one of these wraps. So we'll see what that comes out to be. You could shred this in the grater as well. I just have a hard time grating cabbage. I know some people probably don't, so I'd just rather chop it. And here's an example of why, when you're getting a cutting board, you want to get the largest, good quality cutting board you can, because I'm already out of space there. So this is I think an 11 by 13 or a 9 by 13 cutting board, and I really prefer to have the next size up, which is 16 by 22. It'll just give you a lot more working space. One of the things you want to pay attention to when you're getting your cutting board done is don't buy glass or marble. Those are really easy to clean, but they're horrible for the blade of your knife. So teak or some other kind of wood or bamboo. Hey, Blue Lizard Dog. You don't even eat? What do you mean you don't even eat? You gotta eat something. What kind of stuff do you usually eat, Blue Lizard? Oh, that's not Blue Lizard Dog, is it? I made it Blue Lizard Dog. How's your day going? My day's going a lot better because I'm going to be eating this pretty soon. It's one of my favorites. Bow, bow, bow. So the only cooking involved in this recipe is the tofu. So if you're one of those people that's like going raw, if you don't need the tofu, you know, like the extra bit of protein that the tofu gives you, this would be pretty much a raw meal. Move this over here. I think our tofu is pretty much done. We're going to go ahead and turn off that heat. Kat, I don't know if you can see by how much it bounces around in the skillet here, but tofu has a pretty spongy texture to it. All right, let's see how much cabbage we've got here. All right, there's one. Oh, okay, I think I've ended up doing like a 3-to-1 ratio. Give this a little finer chop here at the end, since I've got space now. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. All right, lots of cabbage. And you don't have to use red cabbage. I don't know that I can really taste a difference between red cabbage and normal white cabbage. But the color that it gives you is nice. All right, so we did 3 cups of cabbage and 1 cup of carrot. For me, I just look at how brown it is, because I want that kind of browned crispiness to it. I don't think it needs to go that long. I just want a little bit of that kind of like a little bit of a bark to it. I don't know. It probably needs to get to like 140 or 160 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know how you would go about measuring that on tofu. It's probably better just to cook it by time. I honestly, Kat, I haven't bothered to look that up. If you were to Google it, I'd be curious to know what they say as far as how you're able to tell if tofu is done. I'm pretty sure I'm just always overcooking it because I want that kind of brown, crispy texture on the outside. All right, so next up, we're going to need to heat just a bit of water in a pan so that we can heat up our wraps. So move that aside, and I'll probably just bring this up to a boil, and then it definitely doesn't need to be boiling in order to heat up these wraps. All right, let's try making our peanut sauce here. Get this back in the frame here so people can see what we're working with. Get rid of our cabbage. Done with that. Nice little colorful assortment here. All right, so we've got our peanut sauce, and I want to check and see what. Let's bring this the recipe that I put up on the website. Oh, I didn't do it yet. Let me do that real quick. Let's see. So, if you want, for reference, on my website, noobcooking.com, I created a new page called Personal Recipes, and I listed these ingredients that you would need for this. And so I'll revise them tonight now that I've actually measured these things out. So I was estimating that we were going to use 2 tablespoons of the peanut sauce and 1 teaspoon of the red curry paste. Let's see how close I was on that. I'm pretty sure that I actually used more than that, but we'll see. All right, so we've got our peanut sauce, and you can see this is starting to bubble. That's going to be ready to go. I'm actually just going to put that on low for the wraps. So we've just got like a centimeter's worth of water in the we've got a centimeter's worth of water in our other pan so that we can heat up our wraps, our skins. All right, so there's one. I'm gonna measure this out. As I said before, I never spend this much time actually measuring out these ingredients for this particular recipe. I just want to make a note of how much I typically use, and I'm going to put that on the website in case anybody else wants to make this one. All right, so let's call it 3. I was estimating in my head that it would probably be 2, but I think 3 is more along the lines of what we actually use. All right, and then for the Thai curry paste, as I say, it may not look like this at your store. Your local Asian market, if your supermarket doesn't have it, your local Asian market surely will. And this in the tin was cheaper than buying it in the jar. But let's see where 1 teaspoon of this gets us. And I'm just going to basically keep messing with this until I feel like it's just the right amount of spiciness for me. That'll be different for everybody. Whoop, I'm losing the lid. All right, let's mix this guy up and see what that got us. You never knew what existed. You don't have peanut sauce, you mean? I'm gonna get a smaller spoon to serve this with. All right, but then we're just gonna mix up the red curry paste with the peanut sauce. Kat, I feel like peanut sauce is a pretty common thing with Thai foods. If you were to go to a Thai restaurant, I think a lot of their recipes use like a peanut-based sauce like this. All right, let's give this a shot here. I think that's got it right there. You could, of course, use more red curry paste, but I think that's just about it for me. And that's like, right on. Awesome. Now I'm starving. I'm ready to eat now. Well, this is going to be like the shortest stream ever, because this is just such a quick recipe to make. Whoop, that doesn't go in that one. Peanut sauce. So good. So good. So good, as Jimmy Fallon would say. As Justin Timberlake as Jimmy Fallon would say. All right, so we've got plenty of steam coming off of this. This is good. That's ready to go. So what you probably will want for grabbing these wraps out of the hot water is a pair of tongs. I used these forever. They work just fine. It's just that the metal ends tend to tear this really fragile Thai wrap pretty easily. So recently I upgraded to a pair of these, which have like a, what is this, like polypropylene or something like that, whatever that kind of synthetic plastic is that they make stuff out of now. And these just work better because they won't tear the fragile wrap quite as easily. All right, let's close that up. Set this aside. We'll give this a little wipe down here. All right, so we can start off with our wraps. And it goes really quickly once you put it in there. The main goal is to not burn yourself, and then to not let it go so long that it becomes unmanageable. So let's see, is the camera really capturing that? You basically just want every part of it to get exposed to the water so that it all loosens up. Once it rehydrates, it's a lot more flexible to use. And then you're just going to pick it up out of there and try to keep it from sticking together. Easier said than done, right? If it is sticking together, just plop it back in there like I just did. Whoop, I tore that one. And set it aside, set the tongs aside, and just spread this guy out. It's been a while since I've made these. I'm having a harder time spreading this out than I usually do. All right. So that doesn't look like much, does it? But it's going to be fantastic. All right, so then I just put down a base of cabbage. And then carrots on top of that. And the tofu. This is definitely a finger food for sure. And then however much of each one is just up to you. It's pretty easy to overstuff these and make them tear. But you'll get a sense of what the right amount is over time. Oh, you know what I kind of want to try? I just picked this up the other day. For presentation's sake, I'm a little curious if this works. Where did it go? All right. I bought a little squirt bottle. It's probably going to be too big for this application, but I'm curious to know. We were making that garlic aioli the other day. Where did the girlfriend put it? I don't know. I don't know where it is now. She's really good at hiding stuff from me. And she gets frustrated with me because I always just ask her where stuff is rather than looking for it. It's gotta be. Oh well. I don't know. It would have been a fun experiment. Oh well. I'll find that one later. But just kind of try to drizzle it on here, which is what that squirt bottle would be really good for. And you see, I tend to get a little heavy-handed dispensing that stuff just because I love the sauce so much. Some peanuts. I get a shot of that for the website to explain it better. So, Kat, did you play any games today since you had the day off? Okay. I didn't want to use the flash. All right. Hey, Wiggly Spark, how you doing tonight? Thanks for the host. I appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate the support. So, wrap number 1 is completed. So what we're going to do is this becomes really kind of gummy once the wrap has dried, once these rice-based wraps have dried a bit. And so it's really pretty easy, easier than a burrito to fold up on itself because it basically sticks together on its own. So there we go. There's one right there. I'm just going to go ahead and eat it. Sorry. I was asking what you did on your day off today, Kat. Were you playing a game? All right, so it's another one of these messy meals. So I'm about to make a mess of myself in front of you guys, but oh, it tastes so good. That sauce is just so good. just the right amount of spiciness when you add the red curry paste to it. Such good stuff. And then the peanuts. So like we were saying earlier, the tofu has such a spongy, kind of mushy texture to it that the peanuts, along with the cabbage, the raw cabbage, they give you like the kind of counterpoint. You know, if the tofu is too soft and mushy for you, you got the cabbage and the crunchy peanuts there to make up for it. So good. It is. It's crunchy. It's mushy, and it's crunchy. Because the tofu is mushy, and then also the wrap, this kind of gummy rice-based wrap, is pretty mushy too. But then you get the crunchy peanuts, and you get the crunchy tofu, or the crunchy cabbage. Oh, I've destroyed it. I'm gonna have to switch to fork and knife now, which is how this meal inevitably ends every time. So good. I'm okay with that though. Just bust out the fork and knife here. Go to town. So, Kat, if you're looking for another vegetarian or vegan meal, let's check out the peanut sauce. Yeah, it's vegan. It's vegan. So, 2 very quick recipes, last night and tonight both. So, cooking for yourself doesn't have to take up a lot of time. Man, that is good stuff. Weekly Spark, how was your day today? Did you do anything fun, or were you working all day? That is so good. Man. You don't need to think about making it, you just need to make it. So, Pat, where you live, the hardest thing for you to get a hold of might be these. I'm sure you're going to be able to find the red curry paste. In the UK, they're just so big on Indian cooking, and you'll be able to find that at either your Tesco or your Indian grocer. The peanut sauce, too, I think, if you don't have an Asian market, your Indian market will probably still have some kind of a peanut-based sauce. Really, that's one of the other things we need to try is can we come up with a homemade recipe for making that peanut sauce ourselves, because it's just peanut butter, really. Peanut butter with a bunch of spices added. But I think this is the thing that you might have a hard time finding there in Cardiff, Kat. So you can see they're just thin little wraps. They're called spring roll skins or spring roll wraps. You can see they're not used to make like Chinese egg rolls. That's a different type of wrap. It's a lot thicker. So these are for spring rolls, like Vietnamese spring rolls, if you've ever had those. These are a lot thinner than that. If you can only find the Chinese egg roll wraps, it might be worth trying it with that as well, but that's going to be a lot heavier. Oh, Sunday, I'm sorry you missed it. This was another really quick recipe. I know, it's only 5 o'clock and I'm already done. How was your day today, Mr. Sunderland? So what we made, and I'm about to make another one here because I'm hungry and I've already eaten one. Already stuffed my face that fast. Oh, you've seen them in the store already, Kat. Good. Kat, if you can get these, you're set. You're going to be able to find everything else. Oh, it's so good. All right. Let's make another. All right, for the sake of Mr. Sunderland. How it sounds like I'm in a bathroom. So, Sunday, do you remember last night when my computer crashed yet again? I'm taking it in to have the processor replaced later this evening. We've already replaced everything else. We replaced the power supply. That wasn't it. We replaced the motherboard, replaced the RAM. Now it's time to try replacing the processor. But the other thing is even when my computer's not crashing, OBS is crashing. So tonight I switched to XSplit, and you can see none of my Twitch alerts or any of that stuff is set up. So I was kind of curious to see if XSplit is any more reliable. Somebody last night was telling me that they use the 32-bit version of OBS, but when I tried to launch that on this computer, the OBS was locking up immediately. So I'm going to give XSplit a shot here. But what you missed was basically we were prepping the raw ingredients and then the one cooked ingredient for these little tie wraps that my sister and I have kind of been developing over the years. It was mainly my sister. She's the one that comes up with stuff like this. But, excuse me. But what you need as the base are these spring roll skins or spring roll wraps. They're rice-based. And then we've just got some warm water here that we're going to pop the wrap into and let it soak for a second until it rehydrates. And then we've cooked some extra firm tofu here, just to the point of being kind of browned along the edges. We've shredded carrots and cabbage, red cabbage. And then we've got some of this peanut-based Thai sauce that we've spiced up with a little red curry paste just to make it spicier because it's really too mild by itself. We're going to top it with some unsalted peanuts, and that's it. That's the whole recipe. It goes really quickly. It's fairly healthy, I would say. Probably be healthier if I used less of this kind of fatty sauce and if I added some kind of greens. But I haven't thought of... Does anybody have any ideas for what a good type of green veggie would be to add to it? I suppose I could try spinach or something like that. So you fell asleep tonight? That's pretty early, buddy. Did you get up really early for work? Did you guys have to get in and start construction early today because you got rained out the last few days, right, Sunday? Bet you started at 4 or 5 a.m. What was the question? I don't know, Vince. Oh, I know what it was. I was saying, does anybody have any ideas for a green veggie that you think would be good to add to this? That's probably, I would say, the only thing that would help make this a healthier meal would be to add a green veggie and to use less of this sauce. And I'm not willing to use less of that sauce, to be honest. So the only way I'm going to make this any healthier is just adding some other veggie. Get one more color represented. But I feel like this is pretty healthy on its own. We've got raw carrots, raw cabbage. Ooh, edamame! Oh, what a perfect suggestion. Let's give it a shot. I have some right here. Where'd it go? Don't we have leftover edamame from the other night? swimming, yeah. Let's try that right now. Let's see, what would be the best way? Add cheese. Cat. Cheese and olive oil. No, olive oil would destroy it. Sesame seed oil would probably be good, yeah. Exactly, punk. Add cheese. Every recipe's better if you add cheese. It's not healthier, but it's better. You've got lightning. Did you end up working a full day today though before the storms came in, Cindy? I'm gonna microwave a few of these. Let's see. Place steam bag in microwave. Directions. Microwave on high for 5 minutes. Let's stay in 1 minute. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I want to try that. Try some edamame or nukimame in this case. That's a good suggestion, Vince. Let's see how that comes out. And that's going to add even more protein. Oh, you know what, though? I think this is basically just soy, though. Because the tofu is soy as well. So these are just the original soybeans. How much fiber do they have? Oh, they have 6 grams of fiber in a half cup, or 85 grams. So, yeah. And of course, soybeans have a ton of protein. It's like 12 grams of protein in that. Oh, you got bad lag. It's not my system that's lagging, right? Is it pretty well in sync for everybody? These a little mix up here with the edamame, the frozen edamame. See how that comes out. All right, let's go ahead and continue making our next one here. Ah, such a good, easy recipe. Definitely worth taking the time to try this one. If you can find those wraps, definitely worth giving it a shot. Wow, my microwave is fast. I don't think this is going to need a full 5 minutes here. Some peanuts as well. Vince, did you find out what you're eating for dinner yet? Who is it that's cooking for you, Vince? I was buffering for a while. That's probably just because they have so few viewers tonight. I think you got to get up to 15 viewers before it splits over to 2 servers to host it. Somebody was telling me that recently. Alright, so this would be a second cooked ingredient, I suppose. Let's give it a shot, see if one of these is cooked through. Yeah, these are ready. Put a couple of these on here. Alright. I've, as you can see, overstuffed this one. I have the same problem when I make burritos. I always try to stuff too much goodness in there. There's no way this one's closing for me. That's okay. We'll just let it tear. Marinated chicken breast and Greek salad and some red peppers and rice. Wow, nice. That sounds like a pretty good dinner, buddy. All right, let's give this a shot. Try the addition of edamame. See how much of a mess I can make here. It works. think that works, though, Vince. You sort of get a hint of the edamame. What I'm really wondering, though, if there's a leafy green that we could add to it. Like, I don't know, bok choy or something like that. I guess I've just got to decide on one and pick it up and just try it and see how it works. But, yeah, I haven't thought of, like, a good leafy green. The edamame, it's a pretty subtle flavor in here. But one more really good. Excuse me. You don't like a strong taste in a sandwich? But yeah, I agree. I think it blends in a bit, but it's one more way to get protein and fiber into the meal. Man, I tell you what, though, I love peanut-based sauces. They're so good. Well, the kale I thought would be too strong, but let's go ahead and try the spinach. Let's see. Let's tear up a little bit of that to add. What do you think about the bok choy idea? Do you think bok choy might work well? I've never had bok choy uncooked by itself, so I don't know how strong its flavors are. I'm gonna try it with the spinach here and see. Yeah, so I see what you're saying, Vince. And maybe that's for the best, to just have a flavor that blends in a bit more. I'd say the same thing about the spinach here. The spinach is kind of lost in there. But if you're just trying to incorporate some kind of a leafy green, the spinach works for sure. I have a feeling the kale would be too strong. I don't think I'd want to do kale with this. I am curious about bok choy. One of these days, I'll pick up a head of that to add to this. But you only need a leafy green. I think between the carrots and things like that, it's already a fairly healthy meal to begin with. And I tell you what, the peanut sauce is just fantastic. I'm with you, Sunday. I was just wanting ice cream last night, actually. I have a feeling everybody already knows how to make a banana split, though. What can we do to try to make a little variation on the banana split, Cindy? Kind of spice it up, as it were. Is there something besides a banana we could use? Some other kind of fruit that might be cool to try making an ice cream creation out of? So good. Oh! Vince, you're awesome, man. Great suggestion. Bean sprouts. There you go. I gotta, as soon as I finish here, I gotta modify the recipe on the website, because I think that's a winner right there. Good stuff. This isn't the most talkative stream, is it? I'm pretty sure I've spent like a quarter of tonight's stream eating. You got one for me, Cindy? Or are you saying that you should try this recipe? All right, you ready?
Yeah. Whisper it to me next time. How do I... Let me just check MoveBot real quick. I want to... There's got to be a way here in MoveBot.
Oh, Cindy, you whisper with a backslash and a W. It's not the exclamation point. Did that open for you guys now?
It doesn't look like it did. All right, let's paste that in. All right, it should be there now. That looks good.
Chicken balti. I don't know what chicken balti is. I like this idea though. Lime juice, paprika, chili powder. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Lime juice, paprika, chili powder, and a grinding of black pepper. Just the beginnings. And then you've got cinnamon, cardamom, whole chili, cumin. Yeah, that one looks good. Yeah.
Maybe for next week.
Probably could swing it next week. So, this is it. I'm afraid I've got to run the computer over to the repair shop before they close. They're going to go get me a new processor from Intel, because that's what they suspect is causing all these random shutdowns. So one of these days we're going to get all these technical issues resolved, hopefully sooner rather than later. But I appreciate you guys tuning in for our very short stream this evening. Sorry it was so short. Tomorrow night, assuming that the computer holds up, tomorrow night we're going to make a salad with the rest of the cabbage, lots of greens. It's going to be a very healthy salad tomorrow night, because Thursday night we are carbo loading. We're going to make a pizza from scratch on Thursday night. And I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to read more about like how you should proof your dough overnight, so that we don't have to like make the dough and then wait 2 hours for the yeast to rise, for the pizza dough to proof while we're streaming. I'm going to try to do like a slow proof overnight, and I've got to read more about how you can accomplish that. What I've read so far is just go ahead and proof it like Wednesday night, tomorrow night, and then put it in the refrigerator to retard the growth of the yeast, and then get it back out before you're going to use it on Thursday night, and it should be ready for baking. But I'm really looking forward to that for Thursday night. So Wednesday night, tomorrow night is going to be kind of a healthy salad, followed by making the dough that we're going to use in our pizza on Thursday. I've never tried making pizza dough before. I've never tried making dough from scratch before. So should be a fun experiment. We'll see how it turns out. But for those of you that are new, lurking in the chat, or lurking in the channel, you can follow me down below. Noobcooking.com is my website. I link to all the recipes that we're making this week, and I'll be posting next week's recipes this weekend. If you have something that you'd like to see us make on the stream, just send it to me either via Whisper here or direct message later. But thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm sorry it's such a short stream. Hope to see you back here tomorrow, 4 p.m. U.S. Mountain Time. That's 6 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. GMT. But Daniel, Vince, Kat, I loved having you guys in the chat tonight. I hope you all have a pleasant evening and have a good day tomorrow at work. All right. Good night. Take it easy.